This is true history. If you restored this car, it'd be like putting eyebrows on the Mona Lisa.
The 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona is a rare sight on the roads. Only 503 were built.
This car pulls attention anywhere you go. Even if you don't like cars, you see this thing and curiosity's got you.
This one has had just one owner. It's almost completely original, and it's very valuable.
So to find something that's representative of an era that's untouched, that kind of smells the way it did originally, is significant. A car like this is, in my opinion, at least a six-figure car.
The 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona was a limited edition version of the Dodge Charger.
These are ordinary cars that manufacturers tailored for a very specific purpose, in this case for NASCAR racing. And there's a thing called homologation, where you have to produce 500 cars before you can enter one in any sort of competition. At the time, these were called stock cars because they were supposed to be fairly close to stock.
Powered by a 2.7-litre V8 engine, special modifications on the Daytona include the 23-inch tall stabilizer wing and the sheet metal nose cone, which replaced the traditional upright grille. The car was bought new in 1969 by Ron Smith, shortly before he went to Vietnam. When he returned, he drove the car until the early 1980s, but its deteriorating condition forced him to store it in his father's garage. There it gathered dust for decades, until he decided to restore it to its former glory. And the man he chose for the job was Marshall Woolery.
I pretty much crapped my pants. I couldn't believe that it was actually a Daytona. The place where it was at is near a lake where I'd been thousands of times, and never in a million years would I guess there was a 69 Dodge Daytona sitting in that little shack next to the house.
However, Marshall had some reservations about the work he'd been asked to do.
He actually hired me to do a full restoration, which probably would have cost him in the range of $100,000 to $150,000. And then I explained to him that doing that would actually take away from the value and the history. It only looks like this once. You can't recreate that much time.
The perfect amount of wear on the car because it's worn enough to show you that it's got a lot of history, but not so worn as to where it's completely worn out.
Everything mechanical that was bad, we fixed. Didn't replace it, we restored what was there and put it back on the car. We probably put $10,000 to $12,000 worth of stuff in it. We just basically rebuilt the master cylinder, the vacuum can was shot. We didn't paint the master cylinder because it wasn't painted from the factory, so now it's going to start getting some surface rust on it. The only thing that we replaced that wasn't factory on the car, the front half of the exhaust is all original back to the mufflers, but the mufflers were rotted out and the tailpipes were rotted out, so we got factory style replacements. They're good copies of what's supposed to be there.
With the work complete, it was time to take the Dodge out for the first time in 30 years.
It was pretty intimidating at first because the things that ran through my mind is, oh Jesus, what happens if someone runs into it? But once I got it fired up and out onto the road, give it some gas and kind of sort of spun the tires just a little bit. Actually, it spun the tires a hell of a lot.
In 1969, Ron paid less than $5,000 for the car, equivalent to around $30,000 today.
The value of the car right now is really, really odd. It's kind of an unprecedented thing. The most expensive one recently sold for $900,000. If it gets in an auction setting with two guys that absolutely have to have it, Christ, who knows what the thing would go for.